Today, nandito kami para turuan kayo ng isang awitin about sa Bible. Sino dito mga kids marunong nang magbasa? Yan, very good. Today, you will learn something new. Sabayan nyo kami sa pag-awit. Amen ba mga bata?
Amen.
Come on! Ang Biblia ay salita ng Diyos. Naroon ang kanyang utos upang ang buhay ay maging maayos. Araw-araw siya'y sundin ng lubos. Halina mga bata, awitin ang bawat titik ng Biblia. Ba!
Baguhin ang buhay.
Ibigin ang kapwa. Ba! Buksan ang puso kay Jesus. Labanan ang tukso. Pangaral sa lahat. Asahan ang kanyang tulong. Okay, ganda. Okay, ganda. Kaya mga bata, lagi tayong magbasa ng Biblia. Pwede ba nating awitin ulit sa umpisa? Ang Biblia ay salita ng Diyos. Naroon ang kanyang utos upang ang buhay ay maging maayos. Araw-araw siya ay sundin ng lubos. Halina mga bata, awitin ang bawat titik ng Biblia. Ba!
Baguhin ang buhay.
Ibigin ang kapwa. Sabay-sabay natin sigaw. Buksan ang puso kay Jesus. Anong susunod na titik? Labanan ng tukso. Pangaral sa lahat. Asahan ang kanyang tulong. Okay, ganda. Kaya mga bata, lagi tayong magbasa. Lagi tayong magbasa. Lagi tayong magbasa ng Biblia. Thank you, amazing kids! We hope na na-enjoy nyo ang pag-awit sa araw na ito. God bless!
Stories of the Bible. Daniel in the Lion's Den. This is Daniel,
Oh, hey!
who was a Jewish man who was taken to Babylon when he was very young.
Yeah.
Daniel loved God and followed God's rules. He talked to God 3 times a day and asked God for help often. Daniel served in the Babylonian king's court for many years
Yeah, I know him.
and under many kings.
Hey, Daniel.
Daniel always proved himself to be more capable than all the other court officials.
I hear you. Thanks. Well, anytime.
Daniel was serving under King Darius, and because of his great abilities, the king made plans to place him in charge of the entire empire.
Wow, okay.
The other court officials searched for some fault in Daniel, but they couldn't find anything wrong with him. He was faithful, responsible, and completely trustworthy.
Wait.
The court officials realized the only way to get at Daniel would be to challenge his faith.
Come on.
So they went to King Darius
Excuse me, Your Majesty.
and advised him to make a law that for the next 30 days, any person who prays to anyone except King Darius will be thrown into the lion's den.
I like it.
King Darius signed this law, and once a Babylonian king signed a law, it could not be overruled. When Daniel learned of this law, he went home and knelt down, as he always did, to pray in his room with the windows open towards Jerusalem. He prayed 3 times a day, just as he always had done, giving thanks to God and asking for his help. The officials went to Daniel's house and found him praying.
Gotcha.
They went to the king and reminded him of the law.
I remember.
Well,
Then they said that Daniel had been found praying to God 3 times a day.
What?
When the king heard this, he was very upset,
Get over here.
and he spent the whole day trying to think of a way to save Daniel.
wait, what?
By that evening, the court officials came back to the king and reminded him that no law signed by the Babylonian king could be overruled. So at last, the king gave orders for Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den.
I know Daniel will do what the king forbade him to. All of us can hardly wait. We'll serve him for lunch in the lion's clan, unless God has another plan. I know Daniel will do what the king forbade him to. All of us can hardly wait. We'll serve him for lunch in the lion's clan, unless God has another plan.
Ha ha! Very troubled was the king by the paper he had signed, but he couldn't change his mind. He was hoping Daniel's God, who seems to be his friend, would save him. In the end, there have never been lions happier in town when Daniel came down. We set our hungry bellies and sniffed around the meat, ready for the treat.
I knew Daniel would do what the king forbade him to. All of us could hardly wait. Now we'll serve him for lunch in the lion's clan, unless God has another plan. I knew Daniel would do what the king forbade him to. All of us could hardly wait. Now we'll serve him for lunch in the lion's clan, unless God has another plan.
The king said to him, "May your God, who you serve faithfully, rescue you." Then the lion's den was sealed shut with Daniel inside. The king spent the night fasting and couldn't sleep. Then very early in the morning, the king hurried to the lion's den. He called out,
Hey Daniel!
"Was your God able to rescue you from the lions?" And Daniel answered, "Long live the king! My God sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths so that they would not hurt me, for I have been found innocent in his sight." The king was overjoyed and ordered that Daniel be taken out of the lion's den.
Daddy Lion says a prayer. We are sitting nice and still. Mommy tells me clean your plate,
But what is happening?
Mr. Lion, here is God's command for you. Daniel was faithful and prayed to God in spite of the king's decree. Because of that, you are not allowed to touch him. No harm will be done to Daniel because God himself commands that he will be saved and protected.
So early in the morning when fighting the snooze, I heard some walking shoes. King Darius himself is here and we are proud. Daniel, he cried out loud. He was so amazed the same Daniel he found was very safe and sound. The king took him out and he was finally free, happy and relieved.
I knew Daniel would do what the king forbade him to. He kept on worshiping the Lord. Couldn't serve him for lunch in the lion's clan, as God had a saving plan. I knew Daniel would do what the king forbade him to. He kept on worshiping the Lord. Couldn't serve him for lunch in the lion's clan, as God had a saving plan.
Okay, we understand everything, but we are still hungry.
All of Daniel's accusing men were thrown away into the den. So try throughout the day, in every single way, to honor God and pray. All of Daniel's accusing men were thrown away into the den. So try throughout the day, in every single way, to honor God and pray. So try throughout
the day in every single way to honor God and